Hey guys, to my returning subscribers who we are here. For those of you passing by, I hope you like what you see and you join the family, man. Today's video is about me just letting you guys know about what I do and just how I started my business 2 years ago. So by now you know I'm assuming from the intro video that my name is Lebohang Mujagi and I am currently doing my honors degree in tourism management. And yeah, I started my business 2 years ago. So how Honored Organic Proud Always came to life is that, so okay, let me just start by describing what it does. So I make and I sell natural hair products, but I don't just make natural hair products for African people or targeting people with Afro. I literally supply products for everyone. So my products are gender neutral. My products can be used by children. My products can be used literally by any person of any ethnic group because for me it was a gap that I have identified to say why is natural hair only stigmatized with it being Afro. You know, if it's attached to your head, it is still your natural hair, regardless of the texture. I stand to be in correction though, but that's just where I come from and that's my stance. So yeah. So what motivated me to start? For the longest of time, I've always taken good care of my hair. I remember in high school, I was literally that girl. Like, and at that time, natural hair wasn't really a thing, you know. I used to get in trouble for it because there were days where I would go to school, just, you know, when you do this to your hair, like you don't comb it, you just do this, especially if you've got afro. I'd literally just go to school with my hair looking like that. And not that I was untidy or I was unneat. It's just that there were days where I'd wake up and I wouldn't feel like combing my hair. And I, you know, if there's someone else from a different ethnic group could go to school with their natural curls, but the difference between me and them is that for them the texture is silky and mine is just, you know, a little bit coily, you know, but they fine, but I'm not. You know what I mean? So that's what just made me force, you know, and just do it. So I'd go to school sometimes without tying my hair, without combing my hair, but I made sure that my hair is always neat. One time, my deputy principal came to me and she said, "You are causing a great disturbance in your classes because some of the students are struggling to see the board. Some of the students are struggling to concentrate because your hair is too big. Your hair is, you know, almost like it's not tamed. So can I ask that you tie your hair neatly?" And I said no. And also, I guess another thing that didn't really like get me in that much trouble is because I've always been like one of those decent kids, you know what I mean? Never really been much of a cool kid. But anyway, I said no. And I literally pulled the school policy and I said, look, the school policy says we must come to school without natural hair, without any dye. So if your natural hair color is red, you should come to school with red. If your natural hair color is black, you should come to school with black. If your natural hair color is ginger, you should come to school looking like that. So I pulled the school policy and I said, this is as natural as it can get. The only difference is the texture, and I'm not gonna do things that I'm uncomfortable doing. I'm not gonna treat my hair. I'm not gonna do things to my hair that my hair won't appreciate. So if there's a day where my hair feels a little sensitive and I don't feel like tying my hair, I'll show up to school not without tying my hair, but I'll just make sure that, you know, I'm still presentable. So yeah, that happened, and before I knew it, oh yes, at some points I even had teachers, you know, like me, teachers of my skin come to me, and one person, she said to me, not one person, like this particular teacher, she would say to me, nah, nah, tshwanetse o kame moriri, you know, tshwanetse o be neat, you know. And this was one of those teachers, you know, glamorous, spot on all the time. And I just said okay, and then I'll show up the next day and my hair will still look the same. But the weird thing is I continued just being confident in the natural condition of my hair, to the point where even the teachers started coming to me, you know, even the teachers started coming to me and asking me about the process that I take to take care of my hair, what I do, where I get the confidence from to just rock my hair. Because like I said, at the time it wasn't really a trend, you know what I mean? It wasn't It wasn't something that everyone did. So for quite some time, a lot, including students, a lot of people were uncomfortable with how I chose to wear and how I chose to rock my hair. But I stayed at it. I didn't know, please, by all means, I didn't know that one day I'd start a business. I really didn't. If anything, when people would come to me and say, you should start a business, I'd get frustrated because I'd just tell them why. Like, I don't think I want to, or I don't have to start a business because you think it's an opportunity. If it doesn't feel right for me, then I won't do it. But anyway, to put that aside, so yeah, it got to the point where people were uncomfortable. There were certain classes where I would have to sit at the back because students would complain about not being able to see the board clearly because of my hair. All of those little things. And time went, and the years passed, and the years keep going by. Before I realized, teachers started coming to me and asking me about my hair. Students started coming to me and asking me about my hair. To a certain degree, where there was this one particular girl, she literally cut her hair. She had relaxed hair, but she literally cut her hair and she started her natural, not natural, but she started growing her afro because of how I wore my hair. Till this very day, she still has her afro because of how I wear my hair. And I love the fact that it's like she let me know that you inspire me to do this and you inspired me to do this, to the point where she documented the video. Now please take note, this was still in high school. I was still in high school. Yeah, I had no idea that I'd start a business. I had no idea that I wanted a business regarding me supplying hair products. So she documented and she took a video of herself cutting her hair and the whole journey. So that was very sentimental, you know what I mean? Because that also just kept giving me more confidence and just to be stubborn in who I am and to be comfortable in saying this is who I am, and my hair, believe it or not, and to some extent is a part of my identity. So if you talk to me about my hair, you are literally coming for my identity. So yeah, that happened. And then over the time and over the years, and this is also the funny thing, I never even had the longest hair. I literally never even had the longest hair. I never had the thickest. I never even had like the most voluminous hair. But it was just approach, man. And I guess if there's one thing that you'd like to take away or that you can take away from this video is that approach is everything. And whether you like it or not, this is why there's a saying that says, be you, stay in your own lane, and the world will adjust. You know what I mean? So I've literally seen the world around me adjust to what I was showing them, to say, if it's about me and if it concerns me, this is what it is. It's either you come to the party, it's either you understand, or you stay on the other side. But this is who I am, and I'm not going to let anything convince me anyhow. So yeah, before I know it, I even had people with the longest hair. I even had people with the most thickest hair. Like I'd look at people, I'm like, you are hair goals. And those type of people would come to me for advice, would come to me to say, how do you take care of your hair? How do you get the confidence to make it work even at that length? You know what I mean? So yeah. And I guess the essence of it and the message that I'm spreading today is that if something, and if you feel like the time is right, just start. I mean, I started my business with my NSFAS allowance, and it took me about 6 months for me to just start selling my products. And I didn't even have like a proper launch. I didn't launch my products. I didn't have a website when I started. I didn't even have a marketing strategy when I started. I literally I took it step by step. On this month I would go for packaging. On that other month I'd go for like the containers. On that other month I'd go for branding. On that other month I'd go for one ingredient, and then the other month the next ingredients. So I guess to some extent that's also what made me start with so much. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like when I launched my product, I started with 3 products, didn't stop with one. When I launched my business, I didn't stop with one product, I started with 3 products because I felt that I want to share with the community and people that actually like taking good care of their hair, to say even if you've got relaxed hair as well, if it's attached to your head, it's natural, because that's why we even see dreadlocks as natural hair. It is not necessarily only about texture, but it's about the authenticity. That's what I advocate for. If it's on your head, it is your hair and it is natural, and it doesn't matter the condition. Of course, there are products like the ones that I'm supplying for you to use, to make sure that it's always in good condition. But you also have to be comfortable in its natural state, in your own hair's natural condition. So I guess just my confidence from a very young age that people witnessed, as I grew and as I was growing, just kind of inspired them. To go back to this girl that told me that I inspired her to go into the natural hair journey. When I started my business, she was literally one of those people to say it was about time. Like, I knew you belong in this space. I knew it, and I know you'll make it because your approach is so different. Honestly, till this very day, for me, I don't advocate for length all the time, because for me, length does not always reflect that your hair is in good condition. You know what I mean? Because we also have to take things like certain things like medication, chronic medication, genetics. Genetics do also play a major role in the volume of your hair, the length of your hair. So even if your hair might not grow, I'm not saying it's not possible, or even if the growth is steady, be content, because there are certain things that are out of your control. And I guess that's also one thing about my brand. I try to not oversell. I try to not give my clients false hope or whatever, because I understand that there are a lot of things that contribute to us having, or to our hair looking a certain way. And as a brand, and as someone in business, I feel it is my responsibility and it's my assignment to communicate those things with the world and to share that information with people, to say, even if your hair is this long, you know what I mean, and it's afro and it's been this long, for the longest of time, if you didn't take care of it, that might be the reason. But if you know that you put in the work, if you know that you invest in it, don't stop investing in it because, and for other, it's this long because, I mean, what are you going to do if it's in your genes? If you have to go ask your grandmother somewhere, or if you have to ask your mother about her grandmother or her great grandmother and the history of the hair and all of those things, maybe it might make sense to you. But the lens should not demotivate you from taking good care of your hair. And that's why even my products, it's not, like I said, it's not just for afro. It's not just, I don't sound like, if you use it like this, you're gonna see growth, you're gonna see what. But of course, I design them and I manufacture them in a way that they produce results. And if they are applied accordingly as per instructions, growth is one of those. It's one of those results. But that is not my core focus. My focus is condition. My focus is building people's confidence, to say, like I had confidence from a young age, to say my hair is a part of who I am, and whether I like it or not, I can't change that. I can't change the texture of my hair. You know what I mean? So it's about those things. Also, just to focus on my business. I didn't let small things like my circumstance hinder me from starting or define me as a business person. Of course, to some extent, it restricts me into doing certain things. But man, I'd like to believe that there are certain barriers that I've broken, and there are certain odds that I've defied. And when I look at those things, it's those little things that motivate me to keep going. So if you want to have a takeaway for today's video, you know what you want. If you want to start a business, just start. If you want to start that course, if you want to go to school, just start. Tomorrow's problems will sort themselves out. Like I said, I started with my NSFAS allowance. 2 years later, I'm still standing. You know what I mean? Someone else could have said, oh, I could have said, it's like I have a lot of needs, or I don't have enough money to keep injecting back into my business for it to grow. And I had to be okay with that. I had to make peace with the fact that there are certain things that are out of my control. And for the fact that they're out of my control, there's nothing I can do about it. I just need to make sure that the things that I do have control over, I try my best, to maximize whatever opportunity or whatever I opportunity again that comes my way. So it's literally just about believing in my skill. I had to learn how to be brave. I had to learn I had to learn how to be stubborn, even with my business, because in most cases, if you can pay attention to the natural hair products that are available, they like the texture of the products are mostly that like conditioned textured, if not like coconut oil vibes. But I saw that we actually don't know how to use butters for 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 more benefits. So that's why I decided to say my products are going to be butter based, and I'm going to make sure that I use as natural products and as organic products as I can find. You know what I mean? And there's certain things that I'd still like to achieve. But again, if it's out of my control, if it's out of my reach, it doesn't mean I won't get there. It just means I just need to make peace to say, let me not stress about this. Rather, let me focus on what I can do and what I can do well. So yeah, I hope I actually answered how I started. So the name Honored Organic, Proud Always. So the name Honored comes from how I felt every time people would come to me, and every time people complimented me, every time people asked a few tips from me on how they could take care of their hair. And that's where the name comes from, because that gave me honor, and it made me proud. It made me proud in my skin, it made me proud in the natural condition of my hair. So if you are to have a takeaway from today's video, I'd say regardless of where you come from, start, man. Regardless of, it's okay. Even if your dreams make you look or sound crazy, but go for it. And I think that's also one thing about me. I refuse to go down without a swing. I just refuse to go down without a swing. And it's a lot, and it does take a lot. But again, when I remember of where I come from, I just keep going. And when I remember of the things that my business has like the opportunities that have been presented to me through my business, oh my word, I wouldn't even have thought that I would have been here, because in most cases we look at material. Of course, that's why we work hard, for us to afford certain things. But there's also purpose, and I'm one of those purpose-driven people, and I'm glad, and I'm glad I'm like that, because that even has made me or caused me to attract the quality of the people that also believe in the same things that I believe in. So yeah, I'm really really proud, and I'm really really glad about that I silenced those voices in my head, or I silenced those voices that came from people to say, no, do it like this, or no, if you don't have a certain phone in business, people won't really respect you. If you don't have certain devices, people won't really respect you. I had to say, device or no device, you will receive me the way I present myself, and to my benefit, or to justify what I've said, me being stubborn in that area has bear fruit, and I can literally pinpoint to say it is because I wake up every day and I choose to be stubborn. I choose to be stubborn when it comes to the vision of my business. I choose to be stubborn when it comes to me believing in my craft, in me believing in my skills, in me believing that because I make my products myself. I'm a full-time student, but I also actually manufacture them myself. I produce them myself. I package them myself. Literally everything that goes on in my business, I'm that hands-on. I don't order products and rebrand them. I had to come up with a formula, that will cater for products, that will cater for different hair types. So obviously different hair types would lead to different ethnic groups. So that also took, and I had to take my time with my research to say, even for me to even get the confidence to sell to certain people, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's like the more I just talk about it, I just realize how far I've come, and it's amazing and it's awesome. And also, if you are in business, because this channel also is for entrepreneurs like me, find yes, you are gonna have and you are gonna face challenges, but there's always one thing that's gonna remind you that you have support, that you have people backing you up, that you have people who believe in what you are putting on the table. And even if it's just one person, don't look at 10,000, don't look at 50,000. You can never get to 50,000 without one. 50,000 can never be 50,000 if it's 49,000. You need the one for it to be 50,000. So if there are 49,000 people, 49 can never turn into 50 overnight. You need the one person to make it 50. So if you don't have 49, but you have the one will bring the other one, which will make two, will bring the other one, which will make three. And before you know it, you've created this chain, or you've created these relationships with people. You've attracted these mentors who believe in you. You've attracted your suppliers, for them to actually have confidence that even on their side, that you'll still bring them business, and all of those things. So yeah, just start. It's scary sometimes. It makes you look crazy sometimes, but that's the beauty of it. That's actually the beauty of it. To say, even though I started with one product, and my first batch was 10 units. I started and I sold all 10 units. You know what I mean? And let that motivate you into releasing the next 10. Before you know it, it won't be 10 units anymore, it will be 20. Before you know it, it won't be 20 anymore, it will be 30. And also, it's also very important to say, if you started, for example, with 500 Rand, there's no way that you can make 20,000 Rand from 500 Rand. In like, if you are selling something, that is. Because if you start with 500 Rand, you look at costs, like the actual raw material that your suppliers, your branding, whatever, and all those things. So if your startup was 500 Rand, how then can you expect a revenue of 15 to 20,000 Rand? So let that also motivate you to say, you are not a loser, you are not stuck, you are not hardworking as people think. You are not stagnant. You are just pacing yourself, and even if the growth is steady, but the growth is there, and let that motivate you to say, as long as I can remember to say, last week I went from this point to that point, I went from this angle to that angle, that it's good enough. It will push you, and you'd be surprised, you'd be surprised at how people receive you, depending on, of course, again, on what you present, and how you choose to teach people how, to receive you. So all of those little things, they come into play. And of course, I know for myself, I pray about everything, I give it to God. I say, okay, Father, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I've done, like the efforts that I've done. Then it's up to you to take care of the rest from here. And one of the things that also give me rest is knowing that if I've done my part with a certain assignment, then I know that, it was either not meant for me, or it's either in progress and it's coming. So yeah, I hope today's video was inspirational, and I hope it provoked a few thoughts. And yeah, I would appreciate it. Again, let's engage, comment. Did I say something that, ignited something in you? Did I say something that you resonate with? And yeah, man, it's about time that, we rise up as young people who literally come from nothing, to say, I literally come from nothing, and I have people witness me to say, indeed, she comes from nothing, but look at the things that this person is attempting. I know I'm one of those people, to say, like I said, my circumstance doesn't define me, not in the way I look, not in the way I dress, not in the way I carry myself, because at the end of the day, I am aware that people will receive you based on how you present yourself. And you presenting yourself isn't necessarily always physical, but the conversations that I choose to have, my associations, the friends I choose to keep, all of those, the people I consult with, the people around too, when I feel like business is not doing well, or when I feel like I'm a little stuck. People, and yeah, they also, I have people for everything. I'll get into that later. But that also helps if you are an entrepreneur. I'd say that just try and look into that. It can never hurt you to have a mentor. But if you don't like it, then again, you don't have to. My mentor always says there's no manual into into, and this may be controversial to my belief, but when I take, there's no manual into doing life. But in my understanding, he practically says there are people that can start a business in 1 year and literally make millions, and there are people who can start a business and it can take them up to 5 years for them to actually start peaking. There's no manual, there's no right or wrong. You just need to know where you belong, and you just need to know the space that you need to occupy. So yeah, I hope today's video was inspirational to my entrepreneurs, to my students, to people. You don't even have to be an entrepreneur or students, but if you are doing life in general, you know what I mean, then yeah, I hope I've sparked something in you. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.